So I really think that August has been one of those months that has had a lot of underrated games, or hidden gems if you will. And I gotta be honest, I mean this because I was not that hyped for August. There's some good releases in August, of course, but really for me it was like, oh, Lies of P, and then the Skyrim game that I can't remember the name, and then Elden Ring, and that was like kind of it for me. Really there was some games that I really don't want to talk about, that I'm kind of ashamed about, like Madden 27, things like that. But really, for the most part, there was nothing I saw that looked really that interesting. And then, of course, you saw like Future Night, which ended up being a blast. And then this game that I've been playing here recently called Duskfade. And for me, honestly, this is a game that could have gone either really good or really bad. Because if it was just okay, if it was just middle down the road, it's still at the price where I feel like that's not acceptable. I'm pretty sure it was like $20 or $25. I'm really good at my job, by the way. I'm great at giving you guys information about games. But I can't remember exactly what it was. But I know it was like 20-ish or more. And if it was just, I don't know, really short or boring, I think that the price is enough that would make it really bad. But anyway, I'm going to talk about it and let you guys decide if you think this would be a good pickup for you or not. But of course, before we get into it, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really makes my day. Honestly, like every time I see a video do well, or I see that sub count go up, it means a lot to me. So honestly, I really appreciate it. Even if you're just watching this right here and you don't click on those things, just know that it really means a lot to me. Okay, so in Duskfade, you play as a character by the name of, what was it? Zoran, yeah. And essentially, your main goal is to, like, try to freeze rents or lower the rents and, like, fill all the potholes and keep wait, what? Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's something else. In this game, you play as a character named Xerox, it's Zeron, something like that? I don't know, he has a weird name. Zirian? Zirian. Honestly, his name's not that important. Although, I have to say this, just now I'm realizing I never listened to the characters when they said his name. Like, you would think I would have got it from there, but I can't remember what they called him. Doesn't matter. Either way, you play the grandson of a clockmaster. Now, this guy is incredibly influential and incredibly important. He essentially designed the great clock tower that is in your town. Now, this thing is more than just a clock tower. Like, it's not like Big Ben. It's more than that to this town. Really to the world. I mean, there's this whole academy where they learn how to make these clocks, and they're just incredibly important to this role. And to be a clockmaster, you have to be patient, precise, very intelligent, and you are none of those things, really. You're kind of clumsy and bullish. But your sister, on the other hand, your sister is like the exact protege of your grandfather. Well, unfortunately, your grandfather passes away, and your bigger sister instantly becomes like one of the most important people around. But unfortunately, she is abducted, and the abductor has this whole plan to basically just stop the clocks. It's much more deeper than that, and I don't really want to get into it because you have to get pretty far into the story before a lot of things start opening up. But in the infancy of the game, your main goal is to save your sister. Now, the abductor took your sister into this gigantic tower that is actually being bound by these chains. So you have to go into these different regions and these different areas to break these chains so that you can enter that tower and save your sister. And along the way, you're going to meet a number of NPCs, like Cloudies is what they're called. They live in the area, and then there's also a few humans sprinkled in, but the humans are kind of like wiped out for the most part, and that's honestly why you and your sister and your grandfather were so important. There's just not that many of you guys left. And so while this whole journey can be kind of lonely, it's not going to be that bad for you because you have a little friend who joins you, a little cuckoo, from like a cuckoo clock. Anyway, this cuckoo is honestly, him and Zeron and like their discussions and dialogue is some of the best because they're not like Cuckoo is not Faye or one of those kind of, guiding characters who's there to just be your buddy or, even annoy you with guiding you. In fact, he doesn't really guide you at all, but there's many times where you guys argue and go back and forth or take shots at each other, and I appreciate that dynamic. It's much better than in certain Legend of Zelda games where you hear hey, hey, hey every 2 seconds. And Cuckoo's not there just to be your friend. I keep calling him Cuckoo, it's not his name, he has a real name. I honestly just can't remember at the moment. But regardless, he has a missing piece that he's trying to restore himself, and so he has his own agenda as well. And every time you go into a different region or a different area, you do find out more and more about this world, and I think that just adds so much more to the story. Although the story being generalized like that does actually work. This is one of those games where they really highlight the gameplay far more than they do the storytelling, and so you don't really ever forget what's going on, and I do appreciate that, because there are some of those games where it becomes so complex, but yet you're more focused on the gameplay, you kind of forget why you're doing what you're doing. And this is definitely not one of those games, so even though I wouldn't say this story is super deep or anything like that, I still really like it for what it is, and I think it fits the game well. So even though I think that the story is sort of vague and it just has you basically trying to rescue your sister, I think the reason they do that is because of the gameplay. Even though I would say that the gameplay is a little simple, it's a little traditional for this kind of action type game. There's a lot of platforming, although nothing too difficult. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of platformers, but I found all the platforming to actually be really fun. Once you upgrade your character and unlock certain skills, you actually get a grappling hook, and the whole platforming takes on a little bit of a different angle. It's almost like you're flying half the time. It's really cool. And I can say the same thing about the combat. It is hack and slash with a lot of avoidance. You're trying to dodge out of the way. And there again, it does open up once you upgrade your character and unlock certain skills, especially those tied to your weapon. You'll be able to add different skills to your weapon, certain things that make a lot of sense, basically kind of turning it into a gun, but also other things like being able to travel through portals or kind of going invincible for a half a second. It's a very weird mechanic, but there is a number of different upgrades that you can put in your sword that don't only affect the combat but also affect movement and things of that nature. Although to be fair, the majority of the weapon upgrades really just help combat. There is a few here and there that will be more functional than just combat. But to be honest, you really don't need much more in the ways of combat. The game in itself kind of gives you enough just with the hacking and slashing and the agility of your character to be able to dodge attacks. That's really all you need, but there are other things to add. And one of the other things that I really like is that you also upgrade your weapon into being something different, adding a different part of a clock. You see, the sword that you have is the hand of a clock. But then once you upgrade it, you can get a pendulum, you can get a few other things. It's really cool the way the whole system works out. And yeah, even those other weapons, they do make a big impact in combat, but they also help you unlock different areas. There's different glass shards that are different colored that will stop you from going into certain places, and so you have to have a certain weapon that can break those shards to go through. And that honestly was more important to me when it came to getting these upgrades, because there again, it did, I think, help a little bit, but for the most part, the biggest, most significant thing I saw as far as these upgrades was just my ability to go to different places. But the combat itself is very fluid. Everything feels really well done. I never really felt outclassed. In fact, I would argue that at times this game might be too easy for some people. Although one major complaint I sort of have with this game is the bosses. The bosses are very formulaic. Essentially, you get them down to about half their level, and then they'll do this thing where they create a bubble around them, and then you have to platform yourself to destroy whatever mechanism that is like maintaining this bubble, which is fine, except for there's a few times where it's really difficult to get to those things, and after a certain amount of time, the boss puts like a bleed on you or something, some sort of curse or spell that'll start draining your HP. So you're trying to platform into something that's really difficult to get to while your health is draining, and that can be sort of annoying. Like, again, this happened specifically for me with Despair, which is like the second boss. It destroyed me. I could not figure out how to get to this one stupid mechanism, and I about went insane, because the actual fight was pretty simple. It was just destroying that mechanism, and it was only one. The other ones were easy to get to, or easy enough to get to. But overall, I would say the gameplay is really fun. It's very fluid, very quick, fast-paced. To me, this game really felt like Kingdom Hearts meets Kena Bridge of Spirits. If you've played that game, it has a lot of the same feel as that game does. Okay, so those two main segments went on like way too long, so I'm just shoving everything here at the end. And I'll just start with like visuals and just say like, I thought like the game itself, like as far as the backgrounds and the environments, I think they look really good. I didn't really love like the character models. I don't know why. To me, it just kind of looked almost too cutesy and yet like not defined enough. I don't know. That was just my feelings on the characters. Musically, it was fine. Like, there was like nothing that really stood out to me, but then also like nothing really annoying either. The voice acting, for the most part, I thought was done really well. There was a few characters, namely like the boss at times got kind of annoying. Just, I don't know, it's hard to exactly explain why I didn't love the voice acting there. It almost felt like a little too, not over the top, but like overacting a little bit. I don't know. Again, I think I'm being nitpicky with that, but as far as performance goes, I had no issues with this game at all. No crashes, no lags, no nothing. And for something so fast-paced, I was kind of surprised that not only did this come from basically like an indie team, but also for the Switch 2 to be able to handle that. I was really impressed. Although I will say this, I have to stop putting that bar so low with the Switch 2, because I think by now the Switch 2 has proven that it can play a lot of games and get really good performance out of those games. But ultimately though, no, I have to say, really liked this game. I enjoyed this game far more than what I thought I would. Like, I have been replaying Lies of P and also trying to get through Oblivion, as well as a few other games. Yet I would say by far I played Duskfade more than anything else recently, like within the last week or so. And I think part of it is, even though it does touch on some serious subjects, it's still kind of fun and light, and it's not as deep or dark as some of the other games, and so it's just a nice world to kind of get lost in. And ultimately, it's also one of those type of games I've been waiting to play for quite a while. I've just wanted something that was more action adventure-ish and just, free roaming, platformy, hacky and slashy, just something that's more lightweight, more fun, I guess, and less like intense. So, I don't know. I really liked it. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. If you've played it, if you're excited for it, if this is one that you just don't care about, it's not your type of game, anything and everything. But I will tell you this, I think ultimately I would give this game an 8 out of 10. I just really liked it. But anyway, that's my thoughts on Duskfade. Again, let me know what your thoughts are down below. I love each and every one of you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.